Level 1. The new arrival. The hatch seals above you with a metallic slam that echoes through steel. No sunlight, no horizon, just recycled air and the low mechanical hum of a reactor you've never seen but already trust with your life. You stand in the torpedo room at 0200, sea bags at your feet, 36 hours without sleep. 53 men glance at you without turning their heads. They've all been here longer than you. They all know something you don't. You are the newest sailor aboard a ballistic missile submarine that disappears for 70 days at a time. And you are useless. Your rack is 3 feet wide. You share it with another junior sailor on the opposite watch rotation. You learn quickly that privacy is a myth, so is comfort. The rules come fast. Don't touch equipment without permission. Don't ask about mission routes. Don't screw up watch. Don't embarrass your division. You earn $2,400 a month after taxes. You sign for tools worth more than your annual salary. One mistake can flood a compartment in under 90 seconds. You start as a non-qualified seaman. That word follows you like a stain. Non-qual. It means you don't know the systems. It means you can't stand watch alone. It means everyone works harder because of you. You spend every spare minute studying your qualification card, valves, bulkheads, emergency air systems. You memorize escape trunk procedures that you pray you'll never use. The first time the boat angles down at 20 degrees during a dive, your stomach drops. You pretend it doesn't. You learn the hierarchy without anyone explaining it. Captain. Department heads, chiefs, first-class petty officers, then you, at the bottom. You clean bilges that smell like hydraulic fluid and sweat. You inventory torpedo parts. You log temperatures on equipment you barely understand. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself everyone starts here. But when you stand your first mid-watch, zeroing into 600, staring at gauges under red lights while the ocean presses down with 6,000 pounds per square inch, you realize something else. You're inside a weapon capable of ending cities, and you don't even know how the cooling system fully works. You study harder, because down here, ignorance isn't embarrassing, it's fatal. Level 2, qualified the day you earn your dolphins. The captain pins them on your chest without smiling. Don't let them get tarnished, he says. You are now qualified in submarines. You understand every major system on the boat. You can trace steam from reactor to turbine in your head. You know which valves isolate a flooding compartment. You stand watch independently now. The ocean feels less like a threat and more like background noise, but qualification changes something else. You're no longer protected by ignorance. When a high-pressure air fitting fails during drills and a line whips violently, you move before thinking. You shut the isolation valve in 12 seconds. The chief nods once. You didn't panic. You performed. Respect down here isn't loud. It's measured in seconds saved and mistakes avoided. You start to see how discipline shapes identity. Conversations are coded. Jokes are quiet. Everyone carries secrets about the mission that never reach the surface. The boat carries 20 Trident missiles. Each one costs more than 30 million. Each one carries warheads with yield measured in hundreds of kilotons. You don't talk about it. You just maintain the systems that make launch possible. You begin to feel pride. Not loud pride. Quiet ownership. But you also start to feel the weight. You miss 2 birthdays. You miss a funeral. Communication home is limited to 40-word emails screened for operational security. You rationalize it. The mission matters. You're part of something strategic. Deterrence. Balance of power. You repeat those phrases until they sound like truth. You don't think about what launch would mean. Not yet. Level 3. Petty officer, they call you second class now. You supervise junior sailors who look exactly like you did 2 years ago. Wide-eyed, tired, pretending not to be afraid. You teach them the same valve alignments you once memorized in panic. You enforce standards you once resented, because now it's your name attached to their mistakes. A reactor scram drill goes wrong during an evaluation. A new sailor hesitates. 2 seconds too long. You correct him sharply in front of the division. Later, alone in berthing, he asks if you think he belongs here. You remember asking yourself that same question. You tell him he does. But what you're really teaching him is this. Competence is survival. You handle maintenance schedules worth millions. You sign off on repairs that affect propulsion. You don't feel powerful, but you are more dangerous now. Authority shifts your psychology. You start thinking in contingencies. If this fails, isolate here. If fire breaks out, seal there. You mentally rehearse catastrophes. The boat conducts a missile systems readiness check. You stand in a control room while simulated launch sequences run. Your heart rate stays steady. That scares you more than panic ever did. You are adapting to apocalypse, and it feels normal. Level 4, Chief Petty Officer, the khaki uniform changes how people look at you. You are no longer just skilled, you are culture. Chiefs run the submarine. Officers give orders, but chiefs translate them into reality. You decide who stands watch. You decide who advances. You decide who quietly gets transferred at the end of deployment. Power becomes subtle. You don't raise your voice. You don't need to. A hydraulic leak develops near the reactor compartment during patrol. You coordinate isolation while junior sailors scramble. Your voice stays even. The leak is contained in 9 minutes. Afterward, the captain thanks the officers publicly. The crew thanks you privately. You understand something now. Recognition is irrelevant. Control is not. You start protecting your division from unrealistic demands. You bend minor rules to preserve morale. You bury small mistakes before they become career-ending reports. You justify it as leadership. But it's also self-preservation. A failure under you reflects on you. Isolation begins here. You eat in the chief's mess. You sleep in separate quarters. You are no longer one of the guys. You feel the distance. You tell yourself it's necessary. The boat dives to test depth during drills. The hull creaks. Some junior sailors look uneasy. You don't. You've learned to trust steel more than people. Level 5, Division Officer. Now you are commissioned. Gold bars on your collar. You carry authority granted by the government, not earned by time alone. You sign legal documents. You approve maintenance budgets exceeding $4 million annually. You write evaluations that determine careers. The responsibility is clinical. During a classified briefing, you review targeting packages, coordinates, yield options, strike windows. You stare at numbers that represent cities. You feel nothing. That worries you. You rationalize again. Deterrence prevents war. Readiness maintains peace. You repeat it like doctrine. A junior sailor fails a drug test after port call. Regulations are clear. You recommend separation. He begs for a second chance. You don't give it. You tell yourself standards are what keep submarines alive underwater. Compassion feels like weakness in a steel tube 400 feet long. You notice how power narrows your world. Conversations become strategic. Friendships become calculated. Every interaction has rank attached. You don't miss birthdays anymore. You miss entire chapters of your family's life. And you don't talk about it. Level 6, Executive Officer, you are second in command. You enforce discipline across 15-5 souls. You review every qualification, every incident report, every mechanical anomaly. You rarely sleep more than 4 hours at a time. The captain sets vision. You ensure compliance. A reactor coolant pump shows irregular vibration patterns during patrol. Engineering recommends monitoring. You override them and order a controlled shutdown for inspection. It costs 12 hours of mission time. It prevents a catastrophic failure. The captain backs you. The crew knows it was your call. You feel the burden now. Decisions ripple outward. One order affects everyone's safety. You conduct captain's mass for minor offenses. You reduce pay. You assign extra duty. You see resentment in eyes that once showed respect. Leadership becomes lonely. You start compartmentalizing emotions. You can't afford hesitation. During a simulated launch drill, you authenticate codes from sealed envelopes. The process is methodical, impersonal. You realize how thin the line is between drill and reality. You stop thinking about it. Level 7, Commanding Officer, the chair in the control room belongs to you. Everyone stands a little straighter when you enter. You carry ultimate responsibility. If the submarine fails, your career ends. If it succeeds, history never knows your name. You command a vessel worth $288 billion. You command nuclear weapons. You command silence. Every order flows through you. Depth changes, course corrections. Weapon status. You project calm even when sonar reports unidentified contacts nearby. You learn the art of appearing certain. Because uncertainty spreads faster than fire in a sealed compartment. You receive a secure message during patrol. Tension rises as communications decode it. It's a change in strategic posture. Elevated alert. You convene department heads. You review readiness. You say little. Inside, you understand what elevated alert implies. Somewhere on land, something has shifted. You think about cities again. You don't dwell. You issue orders. You notice how isolation has hardened into permanence. There are no peers on board, no one to confide in. Authority consumes connection. You are respected. You are obeyed. You are alone. Level 8, the silent architect. Years pass. Multiple patrols, multiple commands. Promotions stack quietly. You move into fleet-level oversight. You don't sail anymore. You design deployment patterns. You review global deterrence strategies. You decide which submarines patrol which oceans. You control assets capable of reshaping continents, and you do it from a windowless office. The irony isn't lost on you. The power is immense. The visibility is zero. You sign off on budgets in the billions. You evaluate captains who once feared disappointing you. You shape doctrine that younger officers will follow without question. But something else grows: distance. You are no longer inside the steel hull feeling its vibrations. You don't hear sonar pings, you don't smell machinery oil. You deal in abstractions now: tonnage, yield, strategic balance. You convince yourself you're preserving peace. You also know that if deterrence fails, it will be your architecture that executes the response. There is no applause at this level. No medals for preventing a war that never happens. Just silence. You sit alone late at night reviewing readiness reports. A single submarine reports 99.7% operational capability. You once stood in that 0.3%. You remember the fear. You remember the ambition. You remember wanting to rise. Power has given you influence. It has taken proximity. You understand now that ultimate control means ultimate isolation. You protect a system that can never be fully used without destroying itself. And you carry that knowledge quietly. Somewhere, a hatch slams shut at Zoo 200. A new sailor stands in the torpedo room with sea bags at his feet. He thinks he's starting a career. He doesn't see the hierarchy yet. He doesn't understand the weight of steel above him or the weapons below him. He thinks qualification is the goal. He doesn't know how high it goes. You do, and the ocean closes over him just the same.